In the previous video tutorials, I showed you how to bring in a format model, this one specifically, and how to clean it up so that it works better in Revit and take some of the errors out of the transference of the model. And now what I'm going to do is show you how to do set up and do an energy analysis of a mass model, just a simple base building. We drew this in Format. This is a 90 feet by 150 foot mass, but I'm going to delete this mass and replace it with a Revit mass so that you can see how that's done. So let's do that. That's the first thing we're going to do. To do that, I'm going to go to the first floor. Okay, and you'll notice when I'm on the first floor, I can't see my curbs and all that kind of stuff, and that's the reason. The reason is because the view range is set or clipped. So I'm going to go in and make some changes to the view range real quick. In this view range right here, over here in Properties, I'm going to go to Edit, and then right here is your view range box. This is the top of the view range, which that's fine, and then the cut plane is set 4 feet up from the first floor, and then the bottom is the problem. It's set to 0, 0, so that means we can't see below the associated level. So there's a couple of ways I could do that. One would just put in, say, -4 feet, and then it would show me everything, you know, below 0 or below the first floor. The other is to come in here and say the level below, in other words, make that. That would be the top of the curve, but it still might not show me everything I want, so I'm going to put in a -2 feet just to make sure it will. Oh, okay, I shouldn't have hit return. And then as far as the view depth, I'm going to go and head and set that to like unlimited, and I'm going to apply that and say okay. And you'll notice as soon as I applied it, now we can see my curves, and here's our building right here. So I'm going to put a mass in here that we can use. There's two ways to do that in Revit. One is through massing inside and using what they call an in-place mass. This is probably, for this type of massing that we're doing, is probably the best way to do it. The other type of mass is under Architecture and under Components. And if you go into, you'll see Model in Place. And this is just a three-dimensional model, like a special piece of furniture or something like that. As this little image shows you right here with the desk. If we wanted to do something special right there, we could model that in place. But for this case, I'm going to use massing in sight. The first thing I'm going to do is create some more levels here, some more plans. And to do that, I'm going to go into Views right here and into here's Plan Views, Floor Plans, and you'll see there's a second level floor plan and a third. These are all associated with the levels that I created, and so I'm going to hold the Control key down and select, including the basement floor, and say OK. And you'll notice it created now a basement floor, 5th floor, 1st floor. Let's go back to the 1st floor here. Now that I have those levels created, and I'm going to create a mass. So let's go in and, as I explained before, we're going to go Massing, In-Place Mass, Base Building 02, since I already have a first one. And now I'm going to use a rectangle. I'm going to draw on this first level, and I'm going to just draw from here and snap to those 2 points since I already have that there. I'm not going to lock it to that object because I'm going to delete that object here in a few minutes anyway. Once I have an outline that I want, I can tell it to then create a solid form, and now there should be a solid form there. Let's go back to my, hit WT, go back to my elevation here. Okay, and yeah, so let's go back to the south elevation actually. Okay, and you can see it's not a full height, but I'll make it a full height here in just a minute. Matter of fact, I'm going to make some changes to it in the elevation, but I'm going to get the mass in. First, when doing with these in-place masses, I found it good just to get a form in there, and then you can edit that form fairly easily. So I'm going to finish the mass, and you'll see here's that original one that I imported in from Format. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that out, and here's the one that I just built, and you can see it over here in elevation. And if I'm zooming here on the elevation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up to the top, and I can lock it to that level because that's how high I want it to be. And then I'm going to create the basement to this too. It's on the first floor, and the basement's 16 feet below it. So what I'm going to do is go minus 16 feet and apply that. Okay. Okay, so it moved it down here, and now I can pull that up. Okay, so my mass now is got the basement part of the mass in there, and that's what I want. I'm going to go back and hit WT again, and here is my 3D model, and let's maximize that so y'all can see it. And now you can see that it kind of hides itself right there because part of the mass is going below the curb. And now what I'm going to do is add in what we call mass floors. And so I'm going to select that mass and say go add mass floors, and once again it's asking me, well, where do you want the mass floors to be? And I said, well, I want them in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and in the basement. Okay, you don't want to make the roof a mass floor because then it'll assume that it's an interior space. So I'm going to say okay now. And of course it's come in and created surfaces, the area of that. So now I have my mass floors, I have my basement, and I'm ready to really begin an energy model. So I'm going to stop here and create another video that'll go into how to create the energy model.